Good afternoon. Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome to the Just Gonna Say It podcast. I hope you all are having a great afternoon. And we'll talk about some fun stuff here. A couple of things. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button because that's what we do here. When you watch YouTube videos and you like guitar stuff, you should do that. That's, Also, there's some links in the description that companies that support the channel, do me a favor and use those links if you would. Sweetwater, StewMac, and of course Dylan Talks Tone if you want pickups for your guitar. So, there you go. We're going to get into why I think that the main guitar brands, Fender and Gibson, people want to talk about how they never innovate. And I think I used to think the same thing. And so I want to talk about why I think that I've changed my mind on that. And I think it's totally fine that they don't. So we'll get into that in a minute. I don't know how long we're going to go today. I am still in a measure of pain. So for those of you that follow the channel, you know that I've been having trouble with a tooth. So I got a root canal done on it. Well, they started it. They took it all out and they put some medicine in it. Of course, the tooth is hollow and they put filling stuff in it. Well, long and short of it is I broke that tooth last week. And so they had to pull it yesterday. And when they had to pull it, they basically used a fretting hammer and a pry bar to get it out of there. It was not cool. It was, I wouldn't bang on my frets this hard. Let me just say that. And then I got a socket preservation done for those of you that know dental technology, which means they got to drill around and do a bunch of stuff and they put a bunch of stuff in there and then they put stitches over it and whatever. So needless to say, it friggin' hurts. It's not a normal tooth extraction. And so, you probably can see it. It's swollen a little bit on this side and in a bit of pain today. So, but we, show has to go on. So that's what we're doing. Let me show you what made me kind of come up with this whole concept. I posted on my Facebook, I'm going to show you this meme. I posted this meme on my Facebook the other day. Guitar companies. We have unique and innovative designs. Guitar companies. And it just shows a bunch of red Strat copies, right? And there's a couple of red Strats in there and then everything else is copies. And of course, there was a whole bunch of conversation about this, about do you think that, innovation is important? Do you, any of that kind of stuff? And what I would say to that, and I've been thinking about this a bunch. There's a bunch of companies. Okay. And then the other thing that you'll hear in this conversation is they need to innovate so they don't just lean on their brand and history that they've had forever to, they're just resting on that. Okay. I think that it's really cool that we have a couple of companies that we know what to expect. That if you want a Strat, you can get a Strat. And a Tele, you can get a Tele, and you can get a Les Paul, you get SG, you get a V, you get an Explorer, and it's the real thing. The real thing has to exist somewhere for everything, right? And the original real thing needs to exist somewhere as a consumer product and not as a custom piece only. In my opinion, I think that's the win. And so people say, well, they're trading on their name. Well, yeah, that's what they do. They've been around for 100 years. Levi jeans, you don't go buy, what do you go buy Levi jeans for? 501s, 505s, and 550s. End of story. If you go to Buck Knives, they've got a whole bunch of knives, but the 110 Hunter Lockback is the one you buy. K-Bar has the Marine Fighter and a couple other knives like that. Estwing makes a bunch of tools now, pry bars and axes and whatever. you buy an S-Wing because you need a hammer. You need a good hammer. I think that's the thing. These companies that have been around for a really long time, people look at their legacy as a negative thing. It's not. It's what made them who they are. I hope that 100 years from now, my company is around and my kids are running it, and it is a legacy brand just like everything else. That's what we all want. If we run a business that makes a good product. And in 100 years, I hope the DAFs and the center punches and the flat sixes are still here. It doesn't necessarily take a bunch of innovation for a company like that to be successful. Obviously, it hasn't, because those companies have been around forever. So, where does the innovation come from? It comes from other companies. So, if you are a company who wants to build guitars, I think it's your job to innovate. I think it's your job to do something different if that's what you want to do. And the reason I think there isn't more innovation in the guitar side is a couple reasons. One, people get mad at me when I blame old people. But in this conversation, it's not really fair, because we all know that there's really only a couple of ways to hold a guitar, right? So, you drink through a straw. You can drink through one of those squiggly straws, but that's a novelty. You write with a pen or a pencil, and you can get something with a Hello Kitty head on the back of the pencil or whatever, and that's just a novelty. There is a form factor to a pen, a pocket knife, a drinking straw. There are things, cell phones, there are things that need certain form factors to get various functions done. Guitars are the same way. You can only hold it a couple of different ways, right? Because we're using magnetic pickups, strings can only really innovate so much, because there's only so many ferrous metals in the world, and we need it to be ferrous. And there has been innovation there. Pickups are a way that somebody could, but they'd have to be really, really smart. I've seen optical stuff. I've seen that kind of stuff. It's really neat, actually. Works really well. The problem is that there's enough tradition in this industry that it makes it difficult for people to accept said innovation. They always kind of find some way to not adopt it, to think it's dumb, which to me is the problem with Gibson and Fender, because they have told everybody that this is the way a guitar should be made, and these are the materials that you need to use. And not just them. They've not just told people that. They've not actually told people that. But what they've done is we've used like the same materials and everything for 75 years to make guitars. And now it's just habit. And so now people that want guitars don't want to innovate those materials, which is really interesting to me. I don't understand that, because it's the only place in the world that this happens. But all that to be said, all that being said, and all those other things that kind of play into it, this is really why I think Gibson and Fender especially should just be Gibson and Fender, right? You should just be able to count on them for the products that they make. If you want something different, go somewhere else. That's it. Go somewhere else. We as consumers have the power to make decisions. We do not need Fender and Gibson to make a razor blade guitar like Schecter did, or an axe, or some crazy whack thing. We need them to make Strats and Tellys and Jazz Masters and P basses and whatever else. Stuff they've always been making. We don't need them to innovate. We have choices. It's 2024. We have choices, so we can go all over the world and we can get, we can get whatever we want. So it doesn't matter. We have as consumers, we have a lot of power to buy whatever we want. And that's also why I think there's never going to be a big guitar company. Not never. I don't want to say never. But I think it's less likely that you're going to see a large guitar company do something very, very innovative. Like very cutting edge, completely different than anybody else. Because the market for those things is always so much smaller. So if you want an aluminum neck, you know where to go. If you want a carbon fiber acoustic, you know where to go. There's 3 or 4 brands that do that. If you want those things, you know where to go. And those companies will handle those smaller markets and it'll be totally fine. And that's where you go. Fender and Gibson, they don't need to, and I don't think they want to. I think they're just fine letting some little company rise and fall and follow the trends and go in and out of business chasing that innovation without that financial instability, because that's what it is. With innovation is going to come financial instability. It's just the risk of coming out with new products and stuff. It happens to me all the time. We'll try something, one person will buy it. We'll try one thing, 10 people will buy it. We'll try one thing, 100 people will buy it. Totally happy with that. And you just kind of get to know it. You know what I mean? But that costs money every time. It costs a lot of money. And so you scale that up to a larger company, it costs a lot of money. So some interesting guy who wears an interesting hat and an interesting jacket and smokes an interesting cigar comes up with some sort of interestingly shaped guitar. And he says it's the newest ergonomic, baddest ass thing. And he's in the basement of the NAMM show. Well, yeah, he innovated, but he might not be there next year. Maybe he will. And maybe he's happy with selling 5 of them a year to his very limited audience. But Fender and Gibson don't run on that kind of scale. So they're going to stay in their lane, which is totally cool with me. Let's see. If you have any guitar questions, you are welcome to ask them. I am going to be done talking early today because of my mouth. So, why innovate when people will buy your products anyway? There are already options for those people who want new tech and companies who don't do as well as ones that churn out the same old. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was saying. And the other thing too is guitars are cool, right? And there are so many different things to buy already. I'm not saying we shouldn't come up with new ideas. I want to come up with new ideas. No, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I do think that, let me do not disturb this thing. I do think, that options are good. You know, let's see. I'm going to run through these questions here. There's a couple in here. Hang on. Yeah, what it is because they beat on my jaw so bad and they drilled on it and did a bunch of grinding and stuff because they got to get it ready to me to have an implant put in there. So my whole jaw aches. So basically it's like my teeth don't hurt and my mouth doesn't hurt. But like to open up my jaw really wide, it just hurts. So talking kind of hurts, but I think the innovation needs to keep happening in the amp and pedal world for sure. I think the delivery of the signal chain, and not really pickups. If pickups were innovate too, I'd be down with that. It just seems that the magnetic transducer seems to be the way to go right now until something else comes up. innovation isn't always received well. I think that's I think I'm okay. Here's my just gonna say it moment. I think the personalities of guitar players are often shaped by their personal what do you want to say? Personalities of guitar players are shaped by like their personal self-confidence issues. And so it's like a state of always being in need of something. Like it's always like what is it called? The scarcity mentality, where I feel like, and I've thought about this a lot, and I've kind of just given up on it. Like, this is why everybody immediately is like, well, I can get it for cheaper. That guitar is as good as that other one. Like that whole argument. That's a personal thing. It has nothing to do with the products. The products are amazing. Everything is amazing. Guitar stuff is amazing. But the people that are not willing to change or not willing to embrace new technology are the same folks, a lot of times in my experience talking to them, are the same folks who limit themselves by they won't even allow themselves to like something fancy. I like my Les Paul. I know you don't have one. Do you have an Epiphone? I don't like you any less. Do you still think a Les Paul is cool? No, because this one's just as good. That's not what I asked you. Do you think a Les Paul is cool? No, I have an Epiphone. It's just as good. That's a scarcity mentality and a completely internal problem. That has nothing to do with anything else but the person who said it. And so I think those people will also subscribe to the idea that all innovation is going to be bad and anything new they're going to be skeptical of and all that kind of stuff. It's the whole bell curve thing, right? Like the early adopters, the mass, and the late adopters. There's a whole bell curve to that. It's a whole marketing thing. I'm an early adopter. Even if I do not buy the thing, I am interested in the thing. So, what Apple's coming out with the goggle-y thing. I don't want one. I don't want to spend $1,500 for the thing. I'm not going to buy it. But I'm still an early adopter in the sense that I want to know everything about it. I want to understand how it works. I want to understand what apps they're using, how they're applying it in the marketplace, and from a marketing perspective, what is it going to become? I'm not buying one, but I am very interested in it. So in that way, I'm an early adopter. There's a lot of guitar players where you're like, here's this new guitar. It came out. It's X amount of dollars. That's too expensive. Come on, man. Is it cool? It's too expensive. Oh, that's just a whatever. I'm asking you, do you think it's cool? So that same mentality, I think, is what keeps people from being like, the new Kemper is out and it's this big and goes on your pedal board. Okay, whatever. Me and you won't be friends probably. So that's what I think a lot of times, innovation-wise, it causes issues. That's why it's not always well received. It's an internal issue. 1-800-BETTER-HELP. Why isn't innovation finding ways to improve quality at lower cost? That's what everybody's doing. Everybody's doing that. Gibson's doing it. PRS is doing it. Fender is doing it. And they're doing a darn good job of it. They're doing a darn good job of it. This also happens in the firearms industry as well. Everyone says that they want innovation and nobody buys it, and everybody hates on it when it happens. Nah, that's just Glock people. How about the availability of parts? You can still find plenty of parts for a 67 Chevy small block. Well, that's because of the aftermarket. You can't actually find parts for small block Chevys anymore. But you can find them in the aftermarket. So that's, once the aftermarket is well supported, and I think that's partly the reason why, for example, we get a bunch of Strat copies, because it's easy to get, like you're saying, it's easy to get bridges, it's easy to get necks. And that's why we all, like parts casters and stuff. Makes total sense. Super fun. But that's why. You know what I mean? There's not a big, I can't go on Amazon and get a Parker Fly bridge. You know what I mean? Because it's just not available. So that makes total sense. I'm totally traditional, including the music I play, but I'd still love an 80s Strat Plus with lace sensors and a roller bridge. Ooh, that's innovation 35, 40 years ago. The firearms one is an interesting comparison. Yeah, Bullpup's an interesting one because they haven't caught on over here, but they're big in Europe. So Jason Daniel Stone made the same comparison I did from a big company, a big corporate model versus small business. And that's what happens is the small businesses are more willing to put the R&D in over a longer period of time. So a lot of times, I'll give you an example. The Somnium guitar that I have with the Quicko change-out pickups. That's a pretty limited audience. He does okay with them. They're expensive, but he does okay with them, and it's very well done. It's the best pickup swap system ever made. It's very good. Very well engineered. But he's been working on it for 10 years before you even ever heard about it. And he's absorbed those costs through another business that he owns. He actually makes motorcycle parts. That's what his real job is. And the guitar thing is kind of a side thing. Same thing with the McPherson carbon fiber guitars. Matt McPherson actually owns Matthews Archery. And so all of his carbon fiber engineering and R&D goes into the archery side. And then basically one day he said, you know what? If I can stop something from vibrating, I can start it vibrating. And he started building carbon fiber guitars. Guitars in general. So it's, as a smaller business, chances are it's an evolution of some other, or an application of some other thing that you're already doing. And so a lot of your R&D costs are kind of soaked into it, and they're also amortized out over a longer period of time. Where a corporate, a larger company has a very defined development schedule and scale. So if we think of an idea today, we want this much money invested in it, and it needs to be a product by this day. When I was in the motorbike business, that's what we had to do. We knew if this is the product, we want it to come out in the magazine on this day, and we need to have it ready for the shelves on this day. And we knew what that cycle time was, and we knew what we had to do. And if it took longer than that, or if it was more expensive than this or that, or if it whatever, we just didn't come out with the product. Where somebody like McPherson or somebody like Somnium, they can be like, well, let me tweak this because I just have to make motorcycle parts over here to stay eating and keep my family alive. Well, I can just tweak this little thing on the side. But when your business is coming out with products, those things all need to be on a tighter schedule. So it makes a lot of sense. Let's see. If you want innovation, play keyboards or bass. Yeah. I think David mentioned here too that there's always going to be guitar companies and smaller companies that will innovate for the niche markets, which is totally fine, which is really fun because now the other thing about this is I'm not a groupthink guy, right? Like I'm not somebody who's like, oh, everybody bought this thing, I want it too. I hear about something. If I want it, I buy it. If I don't, I don't. Um, but I also like something unique. I like unique stuff. I like stuff that I just think is cool and I like it for a specific reason. Every pocket knife I have, every pen I own, every guitar I own, everything I own, I can give you a specific reason why I bought this knife. I know the features that made me go, this is why I want this particular one. And it made me go to this particular brand and this particular model and this particular trim of model, right? I wanted a Magna Cut blade. I wanted a clip point. I wanted this Ultim. I thought it was really cool, and I wanted it to be made in the United States. Boom. Hogue Deca in Ultim. I could tell you that in that fast. And so the guitar thing is cool too because I have a McPherson Sable owned by a small company. I could tell you exactly why I like it because it's not ridiculously expensive. Well, it's an expensive acoustic guitar, but acoustic guitars are expensive. So it's a premium product. It's perfect. There's zero quality control issues ever that you need to worry about with McPherson. It sounds great. I could take it anywhere. It looks awesome. And not everybody has one, So the small niche companies, it's kind of cool. I think it's really cool. And I think it's another reason why those big companies don't need to innovate. I have a Les Paul too. That's fine. I want the standard. I have a Telecaster back there. I want that and I want the standard. I have a Strat. Like I want the thing. I want the real thing. I don't want a copy of the thing. I want the real thing. So I got the real thing. Then from there, as your imagination opens up and you're like, for me personally, this is how my brain works. I'm like, all right, well, I want this other weird thing. So I'm going to get the Silver Sky. I'm going to get the Fiore. I'm going to get, I wanted a D28 because I want the thing. I want the thing that everything else tries to be. I want the thing. And then after that, I would be open to having all of the other offshoots and innovations and changes and whatever from that. You know what I think? You know what I mean? I think it's really fun. And I think allowing and having people just be like, I want this because I want it, not because somebody in a Facebook group or a YouTube channel told me to get it. You know what I mean? I think groupthink is probably the thing that kills the hobby worse than anything else. I just, I still catch hate from my Fiore. I don't know why you would. It's like one of the best guitars ever made, period, on the planet. It has a fantastic neck profile for many different players. It has a single hum setup with a lot of switching options that make it very versatile, that are not complicated to use. It's light. The tremolo system is amazing. And the quality of the guitar, because it's a PRS made in the United States, is phenomenal. I don't know why you would say a bad thing about that guitar. It's expensive, but all good guitars are, I don't want to say all good guitars, but all premium guitars are $2,000 to $3,000. It's great. That guitar is great. That guitar is phenomenally good. I want all the things. I don't understand people hating a guitar or looking down on someone else who owns it. A guitar may not be for you, but there's someone who will love that instrument. You know, it's funny. I'm the same way, Rob. I just want to know what you play. I want to know how you play it. I want to know why you play it. I want to know what made you choose it. I don't care if it's a $200 guitar or a $20,000 guitar. I want to know about it all. I just want to know. I think it's neat. I think things are neat. And cool things are cool. They are. Guitar players that don't think cool things are cool are either lying to you or need therapy. Probably the latter. I don't understand it. I don't understand people that don't think cool things are cool. It happens to me constantly. In every YouTube video comment section, Facebook especially, like I post this thing, that's too expensive. That's not worth the money. This one's just as good as that one. I don't care. Do you think it's cool? I'm not allowed to think it's cool because there's a cheaper one. Really? Like, okay. It's okay. Fine with me, I guess. I don't know. I think it's cool. Like, gotta go ask your mommy if you think it's cool. I don't know. Oh. So, this is a awkward but gross but normal for my brain transition. Because I do not think about my wife as my mommy. But, okay. Let me tell you where my brain went. I said, you got to ask your mommy for permission. And then my brain went, no, most people have to ask their wives for permission. Personally, I don't have to ask my wife for permission. I wanted to give you that transition in thought so that I didn't go straight from my mommy to my wife. You can laugh about that if you want. I am. Okay. I have an idea for Thursday's live stream, and I've not told Leslie. So all of you who have wives and all of you who have girlfriends and significant others, I think what I'm going to do, I think I might put the thumbnail for Thursday up early, like maybe tonight. And I'm going to make the thumbnail for Thursday be ask the guitar player's wife questions. So you can ask the guitar player's wife guitar questions. You can also ask me questions. We can do the normal thing. But in and amongst it, if your wife has questions for my wife, or girlfriend or significant other or whatever, or you have questions for my wife surrounding guitars, plus the normal technical stuff. But I thought it would be fun, and I'm not going to tell her. So don't tell her on social media. I'm just going to put it up, and she's going to hate me, and it's going to be hilarious. And I think it'll be a good idea. Dylan, that was hysterical. Thank you. Hey, see, okay, here's the thing. People get on me for being so like, I don't know, I just say what's in my mind. That was the perfect idea, perfect example of when somebody's in the comment section going, Dylan's so triggered. I'm over here like, doing that. What you just saw that's my brain all the time. Literally all the time. I'm like that. Those are the things that I'm really thinking about. So when you say, I hate your YouTube channel, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you're a dumbass, or you're an idiot. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, poo, about something else. Totally. Don't even care. And usually it's funny. Let me tell you what happened, what's happening lately. So, you sure you want to do that? I am sure. Rob Chapman recently had his wife restring his guitar. That's what gave me the idea. Because I was like, I don't want to copy that idea, but how can I apply that to our audience who likes to hang out? And I know most of you, I know there are some morons in the comments that are like, I don't like it when women, I have gotten this. I don't like it when women are on guitar channels. Women have no place. And I'm like, I don't normally use language that I would like to use when addressing you when you say crap like that. So I'm just going to stay quiet. But anyway, I have thought about this a lot, that I know my audience does appreciate the fact that we work together on a lot of this stuff. And so I was trying to figure out a way. Once I saw the Rob Chapman thing, I was like, wait a minute, how can I apply that to our content? I think it'll be really fun. Let's see. If I don't get to practice each morning, I'm generally not as cheerful. You know, I will tell you, I have been playing a lot, and I don't know if I'm getting any better. I'm enjoying it though. And it's making me enjoy this more. You probably saw it. I was getting really like, this is, people suck, you know? And, the Martin and the McCready Strat. Since I got those guitars, now of course I get new guitars all the time, but you know, for the channel and stuff. But those two, I have been playing so much, and not just those two. What's happened is I'll start on one of those, and then literally like some nights I'll play 7 different guitars. You know, while watching Monday Night Football or whatever, just watching YouTube videos. I've been watching fountain pen videos lately because I've been going down that whole rabbit hole. Coffee videos. I just got one of those cold brew coffee tower things. It's amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, so I've been playing a lot, and it makes me love this. I just love this. And it makes me like, if you are frustrated with anything in life, play more guitar or write. So that's the other thing. This is what I was about to tell you earlier. So the crazy things that are happening in my brain. Since I bought my first fountain pen, I've gone down this whole fountain pen rabbit hole, right? But this is 37 pages in this journal so far. Sometimes I'll sit down at night while I'm watching YouTube, while I'm watching football, while I'm whatever, in between playing guitar. And I just have a pen and this sitting on the coffee table next to me. And I will just stream of consciousness write. Like whatever's in my head, it will just come out on the page. And I've not reread most of it. There has been a couple of pages in there where I'll actually like plan out a video or whatever. And I'll go back, and there's multiple bookmarks, so I can go back there and know, like I'm planning my videos better because I'm writing them all out. But so you should see that improvement in our content because I've been really putting a lot of work into that. But just the stream of consciousness writing and playing guitar for 5 minutes a day has like really, my mind is like so chill. And you can say anything you want to me about anything, and I just don't care. And when I say I don't care, I mean I have no reason to react. Of course, if I reply to you in a snarky way in a YouTube comment, it's because it's fun. But other than that, I just don't. I'm really enjoying this. It's really fun lately. Making content's been super fun. Lita Ford should guitar battle Orianthe. Oh, I like that idea. Does that coffee taste like Coke? So here's something interesting. This is the cold brew tower. I'll make a video on it on the other channel pretty soon. Oh, please go to youtube.com/Dylan and Leslie and subscribe to the other channel because we have all of our off-topic stuff over there. But just real briefly, it takes about 5 hours to make a pot, if you want to call it that, of cold brew coffee. And I drink that pot over about 3 or 4 days. And then I make another one. It's great. And what I would say is if you can think about how the mildness and taste of iced tea, where you can tell it's a caffeinated beverage, but it's refreshing, right? But then just flavor that as coffee instead of tea. It's not strong like your morning coffee. It's like a coffee flavored iced tea. That's basically what it reminds me of. And the longer you let it sit, if you make it and then let it sit in the fridge. So like, let's say if I was to make some today, which it's too late in the day I usually start them at noon. So I'll start it at lunchtime and then it'll be done by the evening. and then I'll put it in the fridge and I won't drink it until the following afternoon. Let it sit in the fridge for a little bit. Man, it's amazing. I really, really like it. I've been really enjoying it. Question. Morning. Hey, good morning, Shane. Going to have the new MGK Razor Blade guitar on the channel. If they sent me one, I would love to have the Razor Blade guitar on the channel. I think it is hilarious. I think it's, I'm not going to buy it. I almost bought the other MGK Telly because they have the backwards one. So they have the black one with the pink pickup, and it's, instead of the pink with the black pickup. They have a used one at the local Guitar Center, and I almost bought it, but it's almost as expensive as a new one. So I didn't buy it. But I have to troubleshoot my quad Cortex having some post-update issues. Ooh, that sucks, dude. That really sucks. I love my Gibson. I wish I owned a Fender. Yeah, you got to have one of each, I think. For me, I think I'm at the point now, and if you're not here, I never want anybody to think that I'm better than anybody or anything like that, because we're just a bunch of people playing guitar, right? But we're all in different places in our lives too. And now, having been exposed to so many guitars over the last 40 years, really, because I don't know if you guys know this, but when I was a kid, my dad owned a guitar store. Like, I grew up doing this, and so having guitars around your entire life and knowing what's out there, I think that's part of the thing that has given me the perspective that I have. I like everything. I think one of the things that if you are really a guitar enthusiast, not a musician. Now, let's break this out. If you are a guitar nerd, like all you care about is the technical stuff, and all you care about is, capacitor film thickness and dielectrics of whatever, and that's how you found the channel, and that's why you are here, and now you're disappointed because I mentioned something about some iced coffee. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Because I used to be that person, and I don't want to be that person. It's boring. Here's the problem. Because I've gotten a lot of comments about this in the last month or so. People have said, I wish you would just get back to your normal technical stuff and blah, blah, blah. This whole talking about, this podcast, for example, isn't why I came to the channel. Well, I'm not sorry. Here's the problem. There's only like 33 parts or something. I counted it up one day. 33 different identifiable parts, something like that, in an electric guitar. If you make 1,300 videos over 10 years, chances are you're going to cover that stuff ad nauseum. And so I'm at the point where I'm beyond nerd, right? Like, I'm past nerd. I'm also wouldn't consider myself at this point a musician, because I don't make a living playing guitars anymore. I used to, and I've done that a lot. And I would imagine that most of you are not musicians. What I would think you are, as am I, is a guitar enthusiast. I think that you are a guitar enthusiast like I am. You love them. I think they're cool. I think cool guitars are cool. And I think all guitars are cool, actually. And as a guitar enthusiast, I don't care where the guitar is made. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care who made it. I don't care what's on the peg head. I don't care anything about any of it. I don't have an opinion. If you want to talk to me about guitar stuff, I will have the conversation. If you are coming at it from the perspective of being a guitar enthusiast, if you're coming at it because you want to be right about an argument, I don't want to talk to you. If you're coming at it because you want to get super nerdy, as long as you're a guitar enthusiast and you're just not trying to like prove me wrong about something, I will talk to you. If you are a musician, you will probably also be a guitar enthusiast, and I will talk to you about that too, because I know a lot about the business side of it. But I am a guitar enthusiast. That is what I am. I'm an enthusiast of many things, but that's what I am. I enjoy all of them. So don't ever think that because I have a $3,000 guitar or a $5,000 guitar, I don't have a five. The most expensive guitar I own is $4,000. I think the problem with a lot of guitar players is they think that just because they class themselves. So, oh, you're a guitar snob because you have a Les Paul. I'm not actually. If you want to talk about your $200 Firefly, I'm down because I am a guitar enthusiast. I like all of them. And what's interesting is the more professional and the more time you spend as a genuine guitar enthusiast, and you are a nice person, the less it matters. The less all of this matters, and the less you're just like, you have a guitar, I have a guitar too. This is very cool. And that's where I am right now. And so the things that you're going to see from now on are literally like, I like it all. I like it all. Somebody said to me, you seem to flip-flop a lot. And it's like, not really. I'm evolving. Definitely evolving. And we should be allowed to do that. If we don't, we die. So let's see if we'll go back here. How dare you innovate? I wanted to pigeonhole you, never to let you grow beyond my expectations. Exactly. Well, I was thinking about that too. That's is it a Jim Rohn thing or not Jim Rohn? It's who's the other wacky guy? He kind of gets religious sometimes. What the heck's his name? Seven something of something. I've been to one of his sales conferences things, but he talks about the leadership lid. My business will only grow as much as I'm willing to grow. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Let's see. I missed a question up here that I wanted to see. Dylan, have you ever had any manufacturers contact and upset if you reviewed one of their products and didn't like it or thought it was gimmicky? Oh yeah. I'll tell you exactly the one. I'm not afraid to talk about it because the guy's a douchebag. And I normally never say that. There's been 2 or 3 times where I've been like, screw that guy, I'm going home. And one of them is that stupid thing that goes on the back of a Telecaster that goes from the strings. What is it called? The tone bone or something? But it goes from the string through holes up to the neck plate, and it's like one piece of stainless. I ran it over with my Jeep, if you recall the video. That thing was the dumbest, gimmickiest thing ever. And what's funny about that is I actually I think he approached me about it once on Facebook, and I told him I wasn't interested. And then I was like, and I think I said something about it, like in a Facebook post or something. I was like, look at this dumb thing. So he wouldn't sell it to me. I tried to buy it from him and he would not sell me one. So I put Leslie's name on it and I shipped it to my mother-in-law's house. And that's how I got it. And I did a review of it and it was exactly what I thought it was. And it was stupid. And he got on Facebook and completely tried to trash on me. And fortunately, it didn't work because whatever. But oh my gosh. If you guys are in my Facebook group, well, he's not in my Facebook group. I think I had to eventually block him off the Facebook page because he would get on every post and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid and blah, blah. You don't know anything about this and blah, 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 and whatever. Yeah. That was hilarious. But yeah, I've not had anybody really give me a hard time. You know why? Because there's not that much bad stuff. There's like hardly any bad gear in 2024. Most of it is amazing. Most everything that comes out is good. And this is something I'm really trying to share and adopt on this channel is there. And I've said it before. You've heard me say it. There's no bad gear in 2024. Okay. That tone bone thing. There's a couple of extraneous things on the outside, but when we're talking about the kind of the main, you go to Sweetwater, you order a product, you get it home. 99% of that stuff, 99.9% of that stuff is just good. It's great. Where people go wrong or where people think a piece of gear is wrong is because they expect a result that they personally can't get because of their skills, probably, or more importantly, I think that happens even less. I think what really happens is they think a piece of gear is bad because it's not for them. Or they try to use it wrong. They have expectations of a Positive Grid Spark Go that they just should not have. It's not a stack of Marshalls. It's a little amp that you set on your lap while you're watching television. And it's amazing for that. Once you actually understand what the gear is for, then all gear is good as long as it's for the right person. And so I think when we do reviews and stuff, that's really what I care about is like not so much saying if the gear is good or bad as much as who is it for and putting this guitar in the right hands, right? Like putting this piece of gear in the right hands. Is this Gretsch that I just bought for $5.99 for everybody? Yes and no. You know what I mean? When that video comes out, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's cool, but the more expensive one is better. Does that mean it's bad? No, but here's some things that you should know when you buy it and who should expect what out of it. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things. And I think that's more important. I think every gear, all this gear is good. I think it's great, Let's see. Cool. I feel stupid for purchasing StewMac Fred erasers. They're fantastic. Those things are good. Those things are really good. Question: is there any use to isolate the humbucker cavity for a Les Paul guitar? I know they do that for Strats, but I think it's no sense for a Les Paul guitar. Oh, you're talking about like shield it? Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Well, you guys, I'm going to get going. My mouth sufficiently hurts from talking for an hour, but I'm glad that I was able to last and make it happen. Please look for a post tonight on the channel for the upcoming, I don't know what we're going to call the guitarist's wife Q&A thing yet. I'll think of a good thumbnail and figure it all out. And we'll put that up tonight. I'll put it up early. If you are a Patreon member or a YouTube member, there will also be a post just for you on our YouTube feed as well as on our Patreon feed that you can ask a question and we will feature it on the screen, and we will make sure that you get featured first. I will post that tonight as well. I'll do it a little early. And we'll get that going. I think that's going to be kind of fun. And I am going to go not talk. My wife is just going to say it. You know what? You might be onto something. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. We'll see you later.